So you live back here?
Yes, this is where you enter Wonderland.
Ah.
A serene paradise. There's even a saloon.
No.
With his bleach blonde hair, board shorts, and tiger paw scarf, Justin, aka Crypto Kid, may not be Central Casting's idea of a millionaire.
See, it has a full functioning toilet. Functioning toilet. Functioning toilet.
Is this what you use on a daily basis?
Yes. Yes.
Welcome to crypto, everybody.
But make no mistake, this quirky college dropout with a penchant for animal print is sitting on a massive fortune.
I seek trends. I got a killer streak, man.
Oh, God.
Here I have my kitchen area. The living room. You can sit down if you care. The library.
Doesn't seem like a real easy way to live. Why do you live like this?
I'm not paying rent. I'm not paying rent. you know, I can spend that money on Bitcoin and Bitcoin and Bitcoin and...
It's Elio Trades back. I'm so excited to be back with you guys. There is so much to go over, some cool news. Some of you might already be able to assume what I've been busy with. Others, I'll let you in on a little bit of what's going on at the end of the video. But for now, let's get into it. Elio Trades, reporting for duty. Here we go again, FUD TV. Bitmain has been in a bit of trouble. They're trying to go for an $18 billion valuation on their initial public offering, their IPO, and it has been sputtering, absolutely sputtering into oblivion. They're down on revenue. They're having key production partners leave them. They're pretty much in as much of a risky position as they've ever been, with more competitors emerging to actually do battle with them from a business standpoint, as well as all of the issues surrounding Bitcoin Cash is in a moment of, I guess, civil war, because there's two different factions, Bitcoin ABC and nChain, that both have their future visions for the Bitcoin Cash project. And right now, there sort of seems to be a lack of consensus about which way this project should go. And with that lack of consensus comes, of course, some instability, and potentially this could mean that the Bitcoin Cash community gets fractured, which I think everyone can agree would not be great for the price of the coin, at the very least. That said, it seems like Bitmain's $18 billion valuation or $18 billion IPO might certainly be hitting some icy patches. We'll have to see how this whole thing plays out. Obviously, one of the biggest complaints against Bitmain is that they are like the centralized evil access for Bitcoin mining. And of course, with that centralization comes a centralization of power. Some argue that they even have over 50% of the hash power, so that they could launch their own 50% attack, 51% attack. All of that has been disputed by Jihan Wu, who claims he only has 4% of the mining power. What we see here is that Bitmain's reign might be slowing down and maybe even coming to a halt. We'll have to keep you up on this story, but it is a huge story as it concerns one of the biggest powers, not just in Bitcoin Cash, but also in Bitcoin and the mining world in general, being the leading producer of ASIC, application-specific integrated circuits, which of course are the most powerful mining equipment that we have today. We also got word from Fundstrat's Tom Lee that he's looking at a specific indicator from emerging markets to dictate how exactly the trend reversal for Bitcoin might go. And right now, the emerging markets are in an incredible decline. And if you can see, since November, they've actually been really fluctuating, and they had a peak around January, right when Bitcoin peaked, but since have been truly struggling. And Tom Lee believes that as this indicator reverses, that Bitcoin could also experience a reversal. So if this is true, right now what we're seeing is that this emerging markets trend has not reversed, but Tom Lee believes it could reverse, and that when it does reverse, that could be an indicator to look for Bitcoin's reversal. We always talk about how emerging markets will turn towards Bitcoin when their own fiat currencies are in trouble. But again, Tom Lee reaffirmed that because the dollar is actually pretty strong right now, the dollar would probably be a much better haven for quote unquote at-risk currencies or economies that are looking for more of a safe haven than currently Bitcoin is, showing all the volatility in Bitcoin. Obviously, we'll have to see how this plays out, but this was, some are saying, a bullish prediction, but I would say it's quite bearish because the indicator has not turned yet. Just like Bitcoin, we're expecting it to turn bullish, but it hasn't done that yet. So we'll see how this plays out. Anyway, keep an eye on the MSCI Emerging Markets Index versus the S&P 500 as a way to understand what could possibly be this bullish indicator that Fundstrat's Tom Lee is talking about. Then there's also this concept that's been running around Twitter that I would absolutely love, which is to see a debate between Vitalik Buterin and Craig S. Wright, who's claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto. So what I love about this is right now, of course, Craig S. Wright is causing all kinds of trouble with his N-chain proposal for the Satoshi's vision of Bitcoin Cash fork, which is of course different than the Bitcoin ABC new addition or update. Obviously, Bitcoin Cash has gone from 8 megabyte blocks to 32 megabyte blocks, and now they're looking at expanding to 128 megabytes. If you follow Craig Wright's vision, of course, they're not even optimized for 32 megabyte blocks yet, and Bitcoin ABC is looking not to expand block size, but to add smart contract capability. Of course, Vitalik has been laying on the insults to Craig, saying if indisputable proof that Craig Wright is Satoshi would emerge, it would say a lot more about Satoshi than it would about Craig S. Wright. In translation, Craig is a piece of you-know-what, and proving that he's Satoshi wouldn't really say much about Craig. It would just prove that Satoshi's actually not the hero that we really want him to be. I personally think there's a 0% chance that he is Satoshi. If you don't agree with me, go ahead, debate me in the comments. I'm curious what you guys think. I personally think that there's no way that this fraudster is Satoshi, and I think that he's just continually causing problems now within a community that he was once a champion of, which is Bitcoin Cash, by just deciding that he's going to unilaterally initiate another fork. And there's a ton of community resistance to this on a ton of valid points. I'm not going to get into debating the actual blockchain dynamics because that's its own episode, but I just think this is another example of Craig S. Wright really just being a troublemaker and really being out for himself. So you guys let me know what you think about this whole thing. Throw an F in the comments if you want to see Vitalik debate Craig S. Wright. Curious to see what the crowd thinks. We also got word that OmiseGo has announced their Tesuji Plasma chain, which is, of course, we've been looking for a plasma chain from OmiseGo for quite some time. We just had Loom Network announce their plasma chain, and then now we'll have Tesuji Plasma, which will be an optimized for payments plasma chain, which will be running on OmiseGo, which will, of course, be a side chain to Ethereum. Now, WaltonChain is also claiming that its R&D team is saying that RFID chips are very close to mass production in final development stages and will soon be ready for tape out. Of course, they're probably releasing this news to keep up with VeChain, who announced that their chips are rolling out. I should caveat here that as I understand it, WaltonChain is developing their own chips with their own subsidiary, whereas VeChain is partnering with already well-known chip makers to produce their chips. I don't know if that impacts the success or failure of the project in your guys' eyes. Obviously, I think it's a harder undertaking to create your own R&D lab and develop your own chips, and that's what WaltonChain's doing. But nonetheless, we have two very strong supply chain-oriented cryptocurrencies releasing what is really their critical piece of infrastructure here, their blockchain-connected chips. If you're excited for WaltonChain, smash the like. If you're excited for VeChain, throw us a comment, let us know. We also just found out in a new study, something that we already knew really, which is that there are less than 10 apps, 8 to be specific, that have daily user bases of over 300 people. 300. That is nothing, absolutely nothing to have on a D app. And it just shows you that while there's been a lot of good ideas floating around this space, there has been terrible execution and nobody has figured out how to build communities behind these projects. Obviously, there's been a ton of investment interest, but it only takes one person to invest tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars. So to see that actually there's only a few hundred people using even the most popular Ethereum and EOS D apps shows that there's a gaping hole in the market. Obviously, that's part of the reason why we created our own D app. Very flattered to see that Justin Sun actually tweeted about our D app. Yeah, we also heard that Mark Zuckerberg's sister is joining the team at Huobi. I wouldn't make too much of a deal of this. I don't know if this means anything about Facebook's involvement in cryptocurrency or blockchain. We already know that Facebook's developing their blockchain internal laboratory, so that's gonna happen. I wouldn't trip. I wouldn't get too overexcited that Mark Zuckerberg's sister is going to Huobi. I think it just means that she landed a sick job. That's about it. I don't think that there's anything else to be made of this. But of course, there's the inevitable comparison saying, oh yeah, Zuck's sister's doing it, so she must be able to tap him on the shoulder. I don't think Zuckerberg listens to really anyone. I don't think necessarily he listens to his sister about things that are integral to the future of Facebook. I think there's a lot of voices in the room, and I don't have any reason to suspect Randy Zuckerberg is really going to be a defining force here on whether or not Facebook enters or does not enter cryptocurrency and how they do it. Pretty cool for Randy. I'm sure she's got a cushy role over there at Huobi. A Coinbase survey shows that 18% of US students now own cryptocurrency. Obviously, it's probably a very small amount of cryptocurrency that they own, but it just shows you that the next generation of people truly understand digital assets. So as this next generation, especially the Zers, the next generation after the millennials, start to age into the economy, we can see a lot more acceptance of these digital assets. We'll probably see a maturation of the market that really matches their growth into the economy, as the sort of oldest cutting edge, or bleeding edge rather, of Generation Z is actually 23-year-olds who are already out of college, and probably a lot of them do have jobs already. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of FUD TV. Thank you guys for all your support, liking, commenting, subscribing. You guys give us all the motivation we need to continue making content and to continue doing the work that we love doing, which is, of course, bringing value to the cryptocurrency industry and the blockchain industry. We just wanted to give you a wholehearted thank you from me and the rest of the team here at FUD, saying thank you so much for all the support. You guys rock. As usual, I'm Elio Trades. You're watching FUD TV, and I'll see you very, very soon on the next episode.